like, hey, everybody. So usually we start with introductions. And then I'm going to put the spotlight on Momo, and Momo is going to talk about herself for a long time.
Love that.
Yeah. So, hi, everybody. Welcome to CosTalk Live. This is episode 119. Whee!
Oh my
Thank you
gosh,
so much.
119 already? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I know, right? So, as you can see, Liz Todd Studio, she has changed her name. She was Ambrose Cosplay, which
That is true.
so the package that I sent you, Liz, was your Ambrose Cosplay logo ornament. So I'll have to get it to you.
Oh
Um,
no.
yeah. So hey, it's gonna be like a memorabilia
I
thing.
love that. It's like how I got my start.
Yeah. So, this is still our lovely Liz from Ambrose Cosplay. So she's now Liz Todd Studio because she lives in, well, anyway, you can talk about yourself.
Well, I'm currently pursuing a degree in fashion design, and then I haven't decided what I'm gonna do exactly after that, but like basically I wanted now that I'm not a teacher anymore, I want people to know me by my actual name. Whereas like before when I was a teacher, I was like, I don't want like students to be able to find me, like my online presence, but now I actually do want people to know my work by my name. So I have rebranded, and instead of Ambrose Cosplay, I'm now Liz Todd Studio, since I do cosplay but other stuff as well. So I wanted it to kind of reflect that I do a lot of things now.
Awesome. So that was Liz's intro. My intro is I'm Jinx Cosplay. I've been cosplaying in Arizona and internationally for since 2001. I am based here in Gilbert, Arizona, and yeah. I had to work this morning, so I apologize that I'm not in cosplay, but I just wanted to wrap my baby Yoda. So I'm going to pass it on to our special guest today, Momo. So, Momo, go ahead and introduce yourself and then go ahead and tell us a little bit about your cosplay background or your design background, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, sorry. The camera is mirrored, so I'm trying to figure out how to get in the middle. There, yeah. So my brain is very confused. Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Momo Karinyo. I've been cosplaying for 15 years, which kind of hurts to say. I got into it 2007. Some friends from school were like, hey, we're going to this event and there's going to be cosplay and stuff, and I had never done any of that. I kind of heard about cosplay from DeviantArt, which for the old timers online, it was like an old art website where you would upload your art, and it was like a community social media for artists.
That was the first place I saw cosplay too, so don't
Right?
feel too bad about it.
I was like, oh, what is this cosplay stuff? I've seen people dressed up like characters and from Naruto and stuff. And I wasn't quite into anime at that stage either. Like I knew of it, but I didn't really watch it that much. Just like your ordinary stuff like Pokemon, like I'd seen that, but I hadn't gotten into Bleach or Naruto or anything. And so I went to this event and I was like, oh, okay, well, I want to try dressing up. And I didn't quite understand the concept of cosplay at that time. To me, it was sort of just like, oh, Halloween. Like people will just wear the costume and then we go. And when I got there, I was like, wow, these people are they're in it. They're in wigs, they're in makeup, they're in character. Like it was just this whole other level, like beyond Halloween. And I love Halloween too, but it's just like a different vibe. And so the next year I went back, I styled my hair like the character. I was all into it. I got all the accessories and all that jazz. So I was hooked. From then on, I started off buying my costumes, and then eventually there wasn't that many good places to buy costumes back then. So I eventually learned to make my own. That's how I got into cosplay craftsmanship. I love doing competitive cosplay with contests, and I've been a judge at a couple of events. And then I did also get my degree in apparel design. So,
Was that
despite
because of cosplay?
it was, yes, yes.
Hey,
A lot of
wow.
my jobs
That's
have
the same
been
like Liz, right? Like, same with you.
yes,
Oh
exactly,
my God.
exactly. So it was a suggestion from one of my exes was like, hey, you really like sewing and stuff. Why don't you try apparel design? Because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. Fell in love with the major, and so many of things that I've learned from cosplay has still been from other cosplayers. Like I got a great background in apparel design, but they're not going to teach me how to use craft foam and Warbler. how to style wigs, etc. So like a lot of that still came from the world of cosplay. So very like multifaceted and all of the skills that I've learned from all the other creative people.
That's awesome.
That is
So a couple
awesome.
comments. Yeah, a couple comments. LARP like Ray says hi. Hello, everyone from Twitch. If you guys, if your viewers don't know, we do stream simultaneously on 3 platforms: Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So a cool gamer's watching us from YouTube. Hey, thank you for tuning in every week. And Hopeless Knight says hi, everyone from YouTube. That is so fascinating. So when you say that you learned how to sew, like talk about that. Like what was your process? Where did you go? Who taught you?
Initially, I started learning from my grandmother. Like she knew how to sew. She had like this really beautiful classic old Singer sewing machine, and then I had this like dinky old thing that she had given to us because someone gave her a new sewing machine, and she was like, "I don't like this. I like my Singer." Don't blame her. Singers, like old-fashioned Singers, are great.
Oh yeah.
And she taught me how to do some basic stuff, like how to do gathering and some basic stitches. And then eventually in school, like high school, I took what was it? It was like half a class of like fashion and then an interior design. So like a little bit more in there, but it still wasn't great. Like my hand sewing, like it would fall off of things. So it wasn't until college that I started getting more into it, started picking up more skills, and then when I switched majors into fashion design, it was when I was like, oh, that's how you install a zipper correctly. I was just like winging it before. I like had no fear. I was just like, hey, this is way above my skill level, but I'm gonna go for it anyways. And eventually I got to a point like many years later where it's like, okay, I know how to make things. I know how this should look, and I know how it can be and the quality that I can sew it at. And I kind of stopped creating as much that I had noticed compared to when I was younger. So I made myself a custom little sign in my sewing room. It says no FOMO, which is sort of like no FOMO, but instead of fear of missing out, it's fear of messing up. Because I became like such a perfectionist in my expectations of myself that I stopped allowing myself to just like go into a project and make mistakes. I was like, I have to get it right the first time, or I'm going to waste this material. And I'm like, so what? I'll just buy more material if I mess up. I might as well just go for it.
I definitely like relate to that. Oh my gosh, I love that no fear of messing up. Like I feel like I need a sign like that.
Yeah,
I think of Liz when I heard that. I'm like, oh yes, what was Liz? Because like because she gave me a costume once to like give to my little niece, and she's like, I wouldn't sell this because it's not gonna. I'm like, oh my god, this is like beautiful. Like everything's finished.
Stop.
Like,
oh my gosh. No, I definitely like had the same. Well, I still do sometimes have that same mindset where it's like if I don't get it right and perfect the first time, then I am a failure. It's like that's not true.
Yeah, we're I mean, it's always we're our own worst critics. But Momo, I want to talk a little bit about where you kind of like where you grew up, if you don't mind sharing.
Hopeless Knight asked, what was your original major?
Yes, and that, yeah. So what was like your school journey?
So I majored in weeaboo, and I went in originally with Asian studies and Japanese language. I just didn't want to go in undecided, and I knew I wanted to take Japanese classes, and I really loved it because I love language in general. Like I took Spanish and I took Chinese in high school as well. I wish I could have taken French and German too. Like I would have taken them all if I could have. Unfortunately, I had to stop taking the Japanese classes because it was one of the few language courses in college that it was like it had a writing and a speaking component, of course, because they have different writing, and it was 5 days a week. And once I got to like the 200 level, all of the like labs that I had to do for my art, because I have a minor in art as well, and for apparel design, like they'd be like 3-hour long chunks out of the day, and I would have to do like 3 or 4 of them a week. And there was like no way to schedule Japanese in with that. So I was like very sad.
You had to make a choice.
Yeah. Do you still like speak a little bit, or?
I still like try to practice it every now and then. Occasionally I'll watch some anime, and like I know anime is not like the place to learn Japanese, but
it can be.
As far as keeping up like words, I'm like, hey, I know what that means. Like I can practice a little bit. I try to read a little bit at least of like hiragana, katakana now and then, so I can keep
I know how difficult that is because I took Japanese as well in college, and it was so hard. And I too love languages because I lived overseas. So I always, whenever I start saying something, I was like, "Whoa, what do you know?" I'm like, I know like hello in every language, but that's it. But Japanese, I know a little bit. So it was fun. I just couldn't keep up with it. I had to take a language anyway, and I was like, I'll take Japanese. So that was a lot of fun. But I'd love to we should start like Japanese club, or there probably is a Japanese club. I don't want to be like stepping on toes, but I would love to, get back into learning languages. But where did you grow up, and what's your background, your past history?
Yeah, so I grew up in the Midwest originally, around the Cincinnati area. So I'm from Kentucky, but I consider like Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky all my home states because I've lived in all three. I went to school at Purdue University, which is in Indiana, and then I lived in Ohio for a little bit as well, which like Cincinnati, if people don't know the geography, is like literally like almost in the middle of all three of those states. It's like right on the Ohio River. So like tragically, I did not get to pay in-state tuition, even though I was actually born in Indiana for Purdue. So RIP to me. But I grew up there, and then during college, my best friend, Anya Brada Cosplay, also a cosplayer, convinced me to go do the Disney College program in California.
You did that too, Liz, didn't you?
Yeah, I did that too.
Oh, no way. Did you do it in Florida or California?
California. I believe in 2011 was when I did mine.
Oh, awesome. What was your role?
Food and beverage.
That was my friend Anya. She did food and bev.
Wait, where did you do yours?
My role was initially I did two of them. Initially I did stores hostess. So the Emporium was my main store.
Lovely.
And then for those that don't know, that's the biggest gift store in Disneyland inside the park.
That's like the end of Main Street, right?
That's like the one that you walk through when everyone's like taking up all the space for fireworks. Like,
yes. Oh, but and I also had to do the candy store too, because that's considered like stores and not food and bev. And oh my gosh, the amount of people that would come into the candy store after fireworks is crazy.
Right?
Wow.
When did you do your program?
My first one I did in 2015, and then my second one I did immediately after in 2016. Both were during the spring, which is a 7-month program.
Awesome.
And it was in Florida, you said, right?
California for both of them.
Oh, California.
Yeah.
Hey.
So
I did the fall one.
Oh, okay. And that one is like what, like August to December or something? Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I did for my second one, I got to do entertainment costuming.
Awesome.
So much fun. I got to learn character headroom, which is of course where everyone starts. And then I transitioned over into what was it called? I forget the exact name of the role, but it was essentially like parade preset. Like you would help get the parade performer costumes ready. And then eventually I got cross-trained into Paint the Night, which is like the nighttime light up parade. And that parade holds such a special place in my heart. Like, oh my gosh, I still cry like when I hear the music come on, which I don't think they do that parade, not in
They don't anymore.
Yeah.
We need to bring it back.
Oh, it was so good. They had like the special fireworks show because it was all for the 60th anniversary. 2015 was the beginning of the 60th since they opened in 1965. I think that's right. Or maybe it's 55. 55, my bad. So yes, that is like my favorite job I've ever done. It was truly amazing.
That's so cool. I'm jealous of everyone that got to do that because I didn't really follow that path, but because my college time was more about partying, I guess, than cosplay. But anyway, and then you moved to Arizona. Can you talk about your transition? Because I'm interested. The reason why I haven't gotten to know you better is because I'm like, I'm gonna ask all this stuff on the show, and everyone gets to learn at the same time.
Yes. So I moved here in 2019. My partner, he got a job out here, and I was living in Cincinnati at the time, and I'm just like, well, I know I don't want to stay in Cincinnati forever. Like, it's a very, nostalgic place for me because I grew up there. However, it's a very small city. I don't know if you've ever watched The Good Place.
Yes.
When they rate it as a Cincinnati should be the medium place, like there should be a medium place that we all go. I'm like, that is the perfect way to describe Cincinnati. It's very medium.
Oh my God, that is too funny. That is too funny because also, what is it? gosh, I cannot remember her name, but Kristen Bell's character like lives in Arizona.
Yeah.
I know, like, oh my gosh, her jokes on Arizona were so funny. Like, I didn't get it until I moved here. I'm like, okay, now I get all these jokes about like Scottsdale and like the libraries here. I'm just
I
like,
love that.
I love The Good Place. I've watched it like 3 or 4 times, but like it's so funny that
I haven't finished it yet, but I do love
you
it.
haven't. Oh my god, it's so good. But it's so funny that you mentioned Cincinnati in The Good Place because I'm like they also mentioned Arizona.
yes, I know, right? Which is so funny. Like,
Oh
my gosh,
goodness.
it's a really good show for anyone that hasn't seen it. Like,
Yeah.
I sob at the end every time. Like, I know
me
it's gonna
too.
happen, and I just am sobbing. I'm a mess.
Oh, me too. But Hopeless Night asks, have you thought about using some of those language learning apps and programs? Like me personally, I have, but I'm not self-motivated. Like, so for me, no. But Momo, what about you?
I've tried a few here and there, but I think I do best in something like a club or a group or a classroom because there's
Yeah.
like accountability.
Mhm.
And then you have to interact with other people and they're always going to bring stuff that like you didn't know, like, hey, like what does that mean? And it feels more organic. I definitely should try the app so that I can at least practice in some way. But ADHD, like, can I make that a habit is the real challenge. Because like I know I want to, but it's also like all these other things that I am also trying to make a habit. Like
Yeah.
basic hydration, drinking water.
Oh my god, same. I have my water here.
I was like, I
I
was
keep
like, I got the one that has like, oh, this is how much water you should be drinking throughout the day.
Yeah, I keep this next to my desk. Number one, because my cat will knock any glasses of water over. So this is knockable proof. And then it's just always here. So I always try and keep it full. Even if it's like days old water, it doesn't matter because,
Yeah, I need to get more with lids because I have 2 dogs and one of them, like her hair is like spores. It just like floats. So eventually like her hair is just going to get into my cup. So I don't know if you remember Signs, like the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah.
Like, where the girl just has like cups of water everywhere. I'm like, that's my house because like I'll look and then like there's like 5 daisy hairs in here.
Oh man, no, I get my cats. So I have my cats, their hair gets in it too. Like it'll get my coffee. Like, and my coffee is like the thing I'm drinking right now. So, but yeah, this helps because obviously again, like she'll knock shit over. Oops. She'll knock stuff over. And it's on my computer and I'll just be like, oh, there you go. She's knocked it over again. So that for me is good. But definitely helpful for you too. Maybe we should make some CosTalk live cups. No, just kidding. Chibi's watching us from Twitch. Hi, Chibi Rain Clouds, one of our hosts taking a break. And she uses Duolingo, but also talk with friends to practice. So Momo, maybe we could like start learning Japanese together again.
Yes.
Onamae wa nan desu ka?
Sorry, what?
For you, I totally threw a loop for you. Sorry.
I was like, huh? I know like just like enough to have like the most like kindergarten conversation at this point, but it was always fun when I worked in stores at Disneyland. Occasionally, like we would get tourists from Japan, and I could almost always tell if it was like a femme slash female tourist because they would have the cutest looking stuff and I would be like, oh my gosh, where did you get that? Like they'd be like little tsum like hair clips.
Yeah.
And I'm like
the products over in Japan are so much better.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh, it's from Tokyo Disney. And I'm like, of course it is.
I want to go to Tokyo Disney so bad.
Oh,
so I have been to Tokyo Disney. It's magical. But also like I went to a Disney store in Tokyo and the products they have there are just freaking amazing. So I have these little melamine cups and bowls, which they're getting so used up, but they have these really cute cartoony Star Wars, like it's for kids. And I bought them. I'm like, so I use them. Like I have these little melamine cups and bowls that are like this animated Star Wars thing from Disney store in Tokyo. It's just like, oh, why can't they do that here? So it's not fair. A couple more comments. Hopeless says animal hair gets everywhere. Yes, in my coffee, and I'll still drink it. Build your immune system. Choco says hello. Hi, cosplay Choco. She is one of our rotating hosts. Oh my gosh, Momo, the popcorn boxes are insane there. Disney or Tokyo Disney? Which one are you talking about? Do you guys know what she's referring to?
Well, I mean, the Disney's, I know that like, Disneyland, Disney World, people are like, going crazy for like the
Yeah.
specialty like popcorn buckets, like the
Yeah.
Figment one.
hmm
And but they just like banned reselling merch. So hopefully that
What does
actually
that
does
mean? What do you mean reselling merch? Like,
where people like, you know, like the magic key holders will like go and buy like 20 Figment popcorn buckets and then they'll sell them on eBay.
but how do
That's
they
like
regulate that? They have like
I
someone
have no
actually.
idea how you
Mhm.
regulate that.
I
Yeah.
think
I have no
actually
clue.
there was one incident where, because I worked during the 60th, anyone that works like that day, they got like a special gift bag. And
Awesome.
one of the drummers from one of the parades ended up selling his, which was like a very big no-no because it was for just the
Yeah.
employees. It was just for cast members. And he tried to sell his on eBay. And when he met up to give the bag to the person, it was Disney. Like Disney bought it from him.
Oh,
But also, really, really stupid thing, his username on eBay was like Little Drummer Boy
Oh gosh, come on.
with like some
Come
kind
on.
of amount of numbers, I'm sure. And I'm like, okay, that's on you, obviously. Like, you should have sent a proxy or something.
Oh
his
man.
username's just like Disney cast member
Yeah. Disney
105.
cast member 123 selling stuff. You know,
Oh my gosh, speaking of
exclusive
like
merch.
super cute Disney containers though, like I have to like share the cutest little bag that I got from Loungefly. Isn't
Oh
it
Oh
gosh.
my
so
gosh, it's like a little ice
adorable?
The
cream.
only Loungefly bag I have, because I was like, I'm not gonna get into Loungefly because it's an expensive hobby, but this is the only one I have. I got at Disneyland.
Oh, that's so cute.
Everybody asked me where I got it. I've never seen anyone else with it. I've seen other Baby Yoda bags, like Sam has one, but it's not, you know. And then his
Oh,
ears
the
move.
ears.
So it's
That's
my
so
favorite,
adorable.
but it's the only one I will buy because otherwise it's like, when do you stop, right? So
Oh
Right.
yeah,
couple
for
of
sure.
comments. TV Rain Club, you must translate. I don't know what this says. Hopeless says CosTalk live trip to Tokyo Disney. I mean, that's the dream. Does someone want to sponsor it? Hello.
Yep.
I like still haven't even been to Japan, so that's why like I really want to practice because I'm like, okay, when I go, like I need to know like a little bit. Like when customers would come in that were from Japan, I'd be like, oh, like like asking them questions in Japanese, and I'd be like they're so shocked because it's not very typical by any means for like an American to know Japanese.
Yeah.
We tend to be monolingual, and if we do know another language, it's something like Spanish or French or German or Chinese. So
Yeah.
like some of
Definitely.
the more like frequented ones that we'll see in our public schools, for example.
Yeah, when I was a flight attendant, so Momo, I don't know if you know this, but I did live in Dubai for 6 years, and I was a flight attendant for Emirates. And Tokyo was so hard to get to. It was a trip that was very, very coveted, and they would staff it with half Japanese, so only the other half. Like, it was such a smaller chance to get that flight, right? And I got it finally in like my last year or two of flying, and I tried to go as many times as I could, and oh my god, it's magical. It's so magical. I love Japan, and I would love to make another trip out there. Tokyo Disney I went to once, and I did go with a friend, so I do have a friend from here that lives there. And it's so funny because she's white, but she's a Japanese, she speaks fluent Japanese and English translator. So sometimes when we were out together, they would look at me, and I'm like,
I get that all the time with Spanish.
Yeah.
People are like, they just come up to me in Spanish. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm like the only one on my mom's side of the family that cannot speak Spanish.
Especially here in like Arizona now, it's like it's so prevalent. So when I went to vacation in Mexico, I was surprised how much Spanish I knew. I was like, oh, I actually know this stuff. But
Yeah.
a couple more comments. Oh, I would love to have more study buddies. She says, let's study together. Okay, yay, I'm down. Hopeless says, I love Loungefly bags that are so cute. There's just so many. So I'm like,
There are
that's
so
why I
many.
never wanted one, because I was like, they're so cute, they're so expensive. But then I got that one on my birthday at Disney. So, and everybody
Treat
loves
yourself.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Choco says, collecting is expensive. I'm thankful for sponsorships for cosplayers so I can get some things. Yes, absolutely. That is hopefully becoming more of a thing. I would love to see it more. So how do you feel like comparing, and not comparing, but between your community in the Midwest and the cosplay community here? Like, what differences do you see?
Maybe it's because Phoenix is just such like a sprawling like urban area. Like I'm very used to the Midwest where like yes, we'll have like cities around the bigger cities. Like, Cincinnati has cities like Sharonville and Mason and Florence and Erlanger, yada yada. But like they're always separated typically by like, you know, the natural landscape. And like here it's just like solid city. Like
Yeah.
all the way from like Mesa to Surprise. It's just like tons and tons of city in between. And it just feels like the Phoenix area is very like interconnected. Like there would definitely be like connections in the Midwest, and I'd still have tons of friend groups back there that I keep in contact with. But typically, like we wouldn't meet up as frequently unless there was a large event, like a convention or some other similar like event that somebody else was planning. But it seems like here there's a lot of events that are smaller scale because they can afford to just have people like casually like show up, which I think is so cool. Like I'm maybe they do that more in the Midwest now, and I just like wasn't paying attention close enough or wasn't in a larger city like Chicago or Columbus, Ohio, or Indianapolis, for example. So maybe that like that was more common and I just didn't notice it. But here it's like there's like an event like at least there's like at least one every month, if not multiple, sometimes on like the same weekend, like yesterday.
Yeah.
There was like at least 3 events yesterday that like
I know.
nerdy anime fans could have gone
So
to.
I think there was like that AZ Goy or something in the evening. I think, yeah. And I wonder if it's because, and I feel like I'm going to like geography school here now, but because Phoenix is a much newer city, the way that Phoenix was built up. And when I say Phoenix, for people that don't live here, I talk about metropolitan Phoenix, which Momo mentioned are a bunch of smaller cities, but they're all next to each other. I think that's similar to where like Chibi lives. Like Chibi lives in an area, and then there's like an area, and then like an area. But for people that don't know, Metro Phoenix is actually a hub made up of like 20 different cities, and it just keeps going out. I mean, we have land for decades. Like we're in the desert, so there's Santan Valley and Queen Creek and Apache Junction's growing, and like Cave Creek and all this stuff. And so when people, if you ever Google Phoenix, people can see it, how it spreads, and it just keeps going all directions.
Like a fungus. It's just like
and I think, and that is cool because you're right. Like there are more events. So even if there's an event in Glendale, I live in Gilbert, which is like complete direct opposite, like diagonal, I'll still probably go, because we have a great freeway system. And I used to say everything was 30 minutes away, but because we're growing now, it's like it's getting bigger and bigger. But it's not like 40 minutes on like a stretch of highway. It's like 40 minutes. I can stop and get a coffee. I can stop and get gas. I can go pick up a friend. So maybe that's why you're right. It's an interesting thing to, kind of look into is how do cities, I don't know if there's a study for like cosplay events in cities, because I know, we know LA is very similar, right? Because between LA and San Diego, it's just city, just because it's so overpopulated. So, but we are younger than LA. We're barely like 100 years old, I think. But because the grid system and how we've been built, it's just, maybe that's a good thing for our cosplay events. And there can be, I don't think it's a bad thing that there's more than one event on each day, but it's better if they're like in different areas of town. Because even though I have the privilege of driving, like I have an EV, I have a hybrid, so I can go, and it doesn't cost me as much, but I know people don't always have that privilege. So I think it's okay if events pop up different areas of town. It's just that when they get really close together, I'm like, come on, guys, like, don't make people choose if they have to choose. Like, that's just my thing. But John Reed says, hello, everyone. Hi, John. Thanks for joining us from Facebook.
Hello.
Hopeless says, until the freeways are under construction on the weekends, yes. But I am grateful that, we do have a great freeway system and they do take care of it. So we do have to be grateful for that, because driving in California, Liz, what's it like?
Chicago?
This is going to be a controversial opinion. First of all, I go to a school in LA, but I don't live I live in LA County, but I don't live in the city. So I do have to commute to and from. The traffic is not that bad. It's like been greatly exaggerated like my entire life. It's really not that bad. Depending on where you're coming from, I guess. But I actually think that California drivers are, for the most part, better than Arizona drivers.
No, that is true. That is true.
That's
I don't
like now the state of the roads are not always like as good as the Arizona freeways. But like the last time I was in Arizona, like there's a patch of the 60 that's been torn up literally since like before we moved. And
Oh,
is
it
like
still is,
still
Liz.
not.
It still
It
is,
still
yes.
Yeah, I'd use it today, and I can, luckily, like they've opened up the part by my house, so like
It's
I can get off.
fix this.
Yeah, but
Fix
it's
it.
looking better. And the thing I don't like about LA freeways is that they don't have the proper, like, I love Phoenix freeways where it's like, here, this is coming in 2 miles, this is coming in a mile, this is a quarter mile. In like LA or San Diego, it's like, here's the exit. Come
They
here.
don't have exit numbers
I
here.
know.
It's just like the GPS will read the whole sign, and I'm like, by the time it ends reading, I'm like, oh, that was the exit.
There is one exit that's like take the like something north south, and when the first time I heard it I was like, north or south, like which one? It literally is the north south. I was like, oh, it's both. Sure, why not?
Oh my gosh. A
Yeah,
couple
I'd
more
say,
comments. Pomar, hey, watching us from Twitch. She says, hey ladies. Choco says, right, makes events more accessible by having them in different spots. So this is what I advocate for. I think it's great that we have more events, but I'll be honest, there are some that like to compete, and I don't think that's healthy for the community, but if they're in different areas, I think that's wonderful.
That happens even in the Midwest, even as far away as they are. People would be like, hey, that convention that's always on that weekend, what if we were also on that weekend?
I mean, in different areas, again, because there are people that are going to be, not able to access it or, go for. I've gone all over the city, and I still find people that are like when I moved to Gilbert, I'd never lived in the East Valley, but my neighbor's like, I've never left Gilbert. And she's like 70. And I'm like, huh? Like there's a whole like state. But anyway, a couple more comments. Taco says, I mean, Phoenix traffic is just LA driving a little less. Drivers are fine in California. I know Arizonans complain about it because Arizonans don't know how to drive.
Oh my gosh,
but it's
so
just
bad.
It's just the freeways and stuff that I don't like in LA. The freeways, the congestion, the
I do find the freeways are like they're still confusing to me. Like when I first started like driving to school, my husband was like, oh, like what route did you take? And I was like, I don't know. I have no idea.
You just like, drove.
Well, and like, so one of the main Phoenix freeways is the 101. California also has a 101. And whenever I like see the sign, I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not the 101.
Yeah.
Guys.
So I do, we get off topic here, so I apologize. Sakura, thank you for watching us from YouTube. I do have another question, but she says, can Momo talk more about your journey? I see you've done collabs with Funimation and Viz, and would love to hear more about that. Something so unique. So yeah, how did that journey start?
Yeah, so the first time I worked with, gosh, I'm trying to, like, in my mind, I know the difference between Viz Media and Funimation, but I always get their portfolios mixed up. So I want to say it was Funimation that did Michiko Tohachin. When they did the dub, it had like Monica Rial as Michiko. I forget the other actors that were in it. But they had a premiere at Anime Boston, and they were looking for like a Michiko cosplayer. And at the time, there weren't that many people that were doing it. And I had commented, like, when they were looking, I was like, oh, like, if only I were going, like, I would love to do that. And they're like, hey, what if we, like, paid for your badge? And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, Boston was pretty far for me. At the time, I was living in Indiana. So that's, like, West Lafayette for Purdue University. And they were like, what if we paid for your, like, hotel and badge? So then all you would need to do is, like, just, like, travel here. So they convinced me. They sold me. And I got to, like, work their booth as like their like official Michiko cosplayer for their debut. I got to go to their like debut panel and hang out with the voice actors. So that was super fun.
I'm gonna watch it now.
It is a really, really good show. If you haven't seen it, it's very like on par with like Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo kind of vibes. Like it's very unique, and I love it very much.
That's awesome.
The next chance I had was working with them at Anime Central, which is the largest convention in the Midwest, up near Chicago in Rosemont, Illinois. And I was doing, I think, just like basic booth work with them. I did 2 different cosplays from Rosario Vampire, which is a throwback.
Wow, I never even heard of that. Rosario Vampire.
Oh my gosh, yes. It was like back during the vampire craze, like when we had like Twilight, Vampire Night. Is that what it's called?
The vampire resurgence.
Yeah, just like everything was vampire.
2008. Oh wow.
Blood Plus, also a good anime. So like honestly, if you watch the anime, it is very ridiculous. I like definitely it's not for everyone. However, the manga is actually really, really good. And I'm not the kind of person that's like, oh, the manga is better. It's actually just like legitimately a different story.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So they like start off very similar, but then like they just go like two different directions at a certain point. Mm-hmm. So like the manga actually gets into like a real plot, whereas like the anime is just all like ridiculous like fan service fluff, and it's very silly. So
well, I mean, and we understand, right, how the different audiences are. So that's why anime tends to be more, you know, visually appealing, which of course, you know, so I get it. But that's interesting. I know but I think between like books and movies and like manga and anime, there's bigger differences. Do you think that's a true statement? I don't read a lot of books though. But anyway, okay. Continue, please, before I go on another tangent.
No, you're totally fine. So in 2016, that's when I got to work with Viz Media as one of their official like Sailor Moon Guardians, Sailor Guardians.
That's so cool.
I got to be Sailor Mars.
Where are these pictures? Do you have pictures of all of these you're talking about?
I think so. I know I have pictures like somewhere. They exist. They do exist.
Go ahead. I'm just gonna like dig your Instagram, but go ahead and keep going.
Yeah, they might be not to age myself, but they might be on my American Cosplay Paradise.
I'm on ACP too. Yay! Okay, let's go check ACP.
Yeah, because like so if you look for like my Michiko and Sailor Mars, it's probably on like those pages.
Oh my god, I still have the login for ACP.
I love ACP. Oh my gosh, yes. I kind of miss like that era of like
quick reference for people that are like, what are they talking about? They're so old and we're so young. American Cosplay Paradise was just like, so cosplay.com was kind of like the beginning of like cosplay social media. And then some other websites started popping up, like AC Paradise, American Cosplay Paradise, which was just like a membership group where you could go make a profile and upload pictures. And then they had AC Men or something like that, because you know. And then they were like Cosplay Lab Rats. Do you remember Cosplay Lab Rats?
I remember that one. Yes.
Lab. Yeah, I was like,
I know of cosplay.com, but I don't know the others.
Yeah, they're like, because we were so hungry for stuff, right? We're so hungry. So a couple of the other, and I'm glad to see ACP still up and still fairly active. I mean, of course, it started out as forums, because it never was just, you know, we never were like a profile community back then. Like cosplay.com was mostly just forums. And then ACP. A couple of comments here. Andrew, back to cosplay. John Reed says, back to cosplay. What are good places for me to find material? So we can get to that. Whoa, you guys are like chatty. I don't want to go too far without comments. Hopeless says, that's so cool. You've had these experiences, definitely unique. TV Ring Class is so fun. Hopeless Night, what's American Cosplay Paradise? Airy Owl watching us from Twitch. ACP is the spot. The videos online too were gold. See, I stopped during that time, like the videos, and the con list was helpful. Yes, that was great because they were good at like listing cons and stuff. But go ahead and continue, Momo. I'm gonna look for your profile here.
Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah, so the I think that was like one of the last like official events I did with the media company was doing the Sailor Mars, because then of course, you know, we all had COVID, so we lost a good amount of time during that. And it helped that when I did that event, I was already living near LA, because this was at Anime Expo. So I got to do the Sailor Mars event, and it was like a scavenger hunt. I was told that I was the most difficult Sailor Scout to find, because for anyone that's been to Anime Expo, the like main exhibitor hall area has a red carpet, and I was the red Sailor Scout.
Oh god!
And I kept moving around because all these other vendors were getting upset with me, because like it was a scavenger hunt, so I would have to like punch their little card. And eventually, once they found me, it would be like a line would start forming, and they'd be like, you can't do that here. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Oh gosh.
So I kept having to like move around.
I love this idea of like you being camouflaged as like Sailor Mars on the red carpet.
I'm just like a floating like white, like half body.
I love that.
So I'm just sharing here the AC Paradise. This is the modern page. So you can see I've logged in here in the corner. I haven't updated it in a while. And this is Momo's. Look, it even tracks our visitors. It was such an old school. I still love it. I love that they still have these platforms. And so I'm on your page 3.
It's
so
a good gallery.
Yeah, which one?
Look at my old cosplays. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're so cool. Oh my gosh, so many. So I'm looking for. Okay, I skipped this one. Let's see.
Might be on like page 2.
There's Neptune. Oh, this is your Mars. Is this?
Yeah, that would be the one.
This is the one that you.
2 different Sailor Mars, but it was the second one that I did. So there might be a picture down in the little gallery. Oh yeah, the group picture.
Oh, this one?
Yeah. So that was like the other people were the official Sailor Scouts also.
Oh, that's new.
Yes. There's like lots of amazing people there. And then they had the outer scouts too, but they had to like go off and do their shift. So we didn't get a picture with them, unfortunately.
This is amazing. So New Cosplay, and I need to tell her this because I don't know if she knows this or remembers, but I met New a long time ago here in Phoenix. Because she was working with Phoenix Cactus Comic-Con. It was called Cactus Comic-Con. And I met her doing that. And I don't know if she knows that. I'll have to send her a message. But she doesn't work there anymore. But that's so cool. Yeah. Wow. See how small the world is?
It is really funny though.
Was this at the event too?
That one was Fanime. So I kind of like did like a soft debut of it. Like, hey, I'm going to see how this, like if this costume is working. So I went up to Fanime for like a day by myself. And well, I met some people there, but I drove up.
Oh my God.
I've never been able to recreate that pose.
It's perfect. And then your other ones, we talked about, what was it called? Hachiko and
Michiko.
Michiko.
So if you scroll down a little bit, I might be able to spot it from here. A little lower.
Oh, Michiko, here.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Okay.
But yeah, so there's the voice actor. That one was actually at Ramen Con though. Like she saw me at Ramen Con afterwards, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, do you remember?" And she's like, "Yes."
Oh, like, that's the best.
How awesome!
It's like
so cool. What great experience.
That's so sweet.
I love like voice actors are so sweet.
And then the other one was, remind me of the name, Vampire and
Rosario Vampire. So the character was there's Mizore and then there was Kurumo. So it might be on the first page.
On the first?
Possibly.
Karina? No. Harui? Oh no. Sorry. I'm just like throwing out names now.
Kurumo. Next to
this
Jasmine. One. Yeah. Oh, and there's the other Michiko too. So that one was OhioCon before I did the Anime Central event.
Nice.
Because eventually
I did. Wonderful. Whoa, look at this picture, guys. So cool.
Oh my gosh, like the hair.
The
clothes.
That skirt was such a nightmare to make. I ended up like remaking the skirt. So that was like the first version I did when I did not know how to install a zipper. That skirt was so extra. And that one was when I redid it. I did the plaid design on it with satin stitching.
Oh, nice.
That took
me sounds like it would have taken like forever.
Yes, it was like 8 spools of thread. It was ridiculous.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, that was at Anime Central.
Wow. So guys, if you're itching for more like places to just like immerse yourself in cosplay, AC Paradise is still going. I remember when we used to like it was you had to like not a sponsorship, but somebody could pay something to like boost you or something. But
yeah, like a membership or something.
Yeah. Oh, it's American Cosplay Experience is the one for men because AC Paradise. I don't remember why AC Paradise was released and it was like women focused. I don't remember, but this is the men's one. And look at Yaya Han is still on here and under her old name Angelic Star.
Oh my gosh.
That's what she used to go by on cosplay.com. Was Angelic.
Throwback.
So yeah, and this is mine. You guys can add me. I'm gonna add you. Oh wait, can I add you? I can't remember how this works. I can't remember. Can I? Okay. Well, anyway. So that is really cool, and I actually am really curious. If you guys didn't know, and you might have even used it and didn't realize it, but Momo puts out patterns. So you've actually drafted and designed patterns. Let's talk about your patterns because I can't. Even me learning to use patterns is like, a math test for me. So yeah.
So that honestly was one of the skills that I did pick up when I did my major in apparel design. And it's probably one of my favorite parts of cosplay, honestly. Like, I'll get to the point where, like, you know, it's like, okay, time to install the buttons, the zippers, like the finishing touches. And I will just be like, I'm bored. I want to start something new. I'm just like, it's like 90% complete. And I'm just like, what if I started a whole new project?
I would
Totally
never
like that
do
question.
anything like that.
Yeah,
I love patterning. However, something that I've really learned that is extremely difficult in patterning is that it's more of an art than a science. And there really is no good way to make like enough sizes for everybody. So I do what I can. I try to offer like different lengths and different sizes. And I wish I could do more. Like I said, I want to do more and put more into that. However, I am doing that all in my free time. And I was previously using some software from a job that I was working with a bridal design company where I would make patterns for their dresses. So like it was cool. I had access to that, you know, during my off hours. However, during my off hours, I was like so exhausted of using the computer that I'm like, okay, this is like, it's hard to stay here and want to work more during my off time.
Even if it's just for like your like hobby, it gets to be burnt out because it just reminds you of that.
Yeah, I was just like, I need to stand up. I need to go look at something besides a computer screen. Like, you know, my neck and shoulders were hurting. So I'm like, you know, doing the like artist hunch over where you don't notice you're doing it, but you're like, I'm really into my work. And so I'm trying to see if I can bring more of that back this year. Things got a little bit away from me. Like during COVID, I really lost a lot of motivation to cosplay because I typically prefer to cosplay like socially.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't motivating enough for me to like get in costume and get on TikTok or whatever. Like I'm really great for the people that were into that, but for me, I was just like, it's just not doing it for me.
Yeah, I think you're the same as me because I think like 2015-ish is kind of the time where people started like, you know, making cosplay and putting on the internet. Like I don't even think I signed up for my Facebook page for my cosplay personality until like 2014. So like before then, I feel like it was like if you didn't wear it to an event, it wasn't a cosplay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's how it felt sometimes for me.
Yeah, you had to like debut it.
Yeah. Like you still use the word debut. I do too. Because I feel like it's not a cosplay until I've worn it somewhere. So it's weird now that I have cosplays that I haven't quite worn at an event. And I'm like, yeah, I cosplayed it, but I don't know.
Yeah, so, like even on my own website, you know, I list like where did I debut it, and a lot of them it's like not yet debuted.
I do the same thing. Oh my god, I think it's such an old school thing to do. Like it doesn't matter anymore. But for some reason, I'm still like, I wore this at Phoenix Fan Fusion 2017. I don't think anyone really cares, but
like, well, if I don't write it down, I will forget, and people would be like, "What did you wear that year?" And I'm like, hang on, let me check my website.
Yeah, I think I use my website more for my own reference.
Exactly the same. It's like, how did I make that costume? I honestly don't remember. Like the tutorials that I do for my patterns, they're on YouTube and they're free to view, so you don't even have to use my patterns to like follow the tutorials. I still have to follow my own video tutorials because I'm like, wait, what order did I do that in?
Yeah. No, but that's great. I've used your Sailor Scout bow, and I wish I'd known, like, and this was like, because I already had patterns. So whenever Yaya comes out with patterns and they're on sale, I'll buy them. So I already had her like magical girl one, but it's a 2-piece. So I actually went and altered it to be a 1-piece. But then I was like, when I was looking for bows, I was like, I had remembered. I'm like, someone has a bow pattern. I found yours. I used it. It's like, she has the whole scout pattern. I would have just, because I ended up having to do alterations on this one, and it was, and I'm not like the best with patterns, but other people that have used it, I think when we did our Sailor Scout meetup, BB Bobbin had used your whole pattern. And I was like, I should have done that. Yeah, it looked great. We both had the perfect bows, and I'm like, I can tell I didn't use Momo's bow pattern. Now, when did you start like releasing your patterns to the public?
I believe I started doing that around the time that like Patreon was really starting to take off with cosplayers. I no longer do my Patreon anymore, so I've been hoping this year that I can remake some of those tutorials because they were made at a time when I was doing Patreon. So it's like, hey, here's the link to my Patreon, which hasn't existed for a couple of years now. And it was also at a time where it's like I didn't have the other sizes yet available. I've changed how I approach some of the like techniques that I've done. Like I've changed those up. So I would say that was probably like around 2017, I think is when I started the Patreon, because it was shortly after I had like 2 different cosplays go like kind of viral, which was Moana. That was like my first picture to ever hit like 10K likes on Instagram. Like that was like such a huge milestone for me. And now look at us, like I'm lucky if I get 100 likes on anything.
The algorithm.
Honestly, like I feel like the pandemic sort of like flooded the cosplay market in a way. Like people started watching TikTok and like seeing more cosplay, and then they were like, oh, like I want to do that. And now we have like a cosplay boom going on.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
A couple more comments here. Hopeless had mentioned an answer to you, John, is where to get material. SAS is a local, there's 3 of them, but they're not owned by the same people. SAS is a fabric warehouse place. But also Joanne and Michaels and Hobby Lobby are great too. They often have coupons and sales.
Joann's is really good, especially for the consistency. Like SAS is awesome, but it's like you have to like get whatever it is at that time, like that you need, plus a little extra because it might not be there when you come back.
And with the chains, of course, if they don't have enough, they can call around and be like, oh, well, this, like, for example, I was buying this Yaya Han fabric, which is exclusively carried at Joanne, and the roll that they had been sun damaged. So they actually called around and found another location with a lot. So those are, I mean, even though, you know, some people might balk at like, oh, Joanne fabric, but if you find them on discount or clearance, you know,
you have to use the coupons. It's the only way. I used to work at Joanne too, so
that's awesome.
Joann's is just good for like your like notions, zippers, you know, that kind of stuff that you could literally get anywhere, but you could use like a coupon at Joann's. Like now that I'm like well, now that I'm like really close to like Fashion District, like I like mentioned going to Joann's to a friend of mine. She's like, why didn't you just go to Fashion District? I'm like, because I'm gonna end up paying $25 for parking to get a $3 zipper.
True. Yeah. Sometimes I just need to like grab and go.
Right.
So Chibi said, oh, Hopeless says, I just got my tickets for Anime Expo. Yay, I have not been to Anime Expo since 2008. I would love to go again, but
I've never been to Anime Expo.
You've never been to Anime Expo? I would love to
go back this year.
Yay! It's just so close to like Phoenix Fan Fusion, and I don't know, it's just, you know, Andrew Wooster. So Wooster is a friend of mine from like way back when, in the early like late 2000s, when we used to go to San Diego together all the time. He said, never forget how chaotic San Diego was with all the cosplay groups trying to debut things. Oh yeah, that was like when cosplay groups, like I'm talking like 2007, 2008, when people were like, we're the group, we're the this group, we're the that group, which is cool, but that's when it was really, really like making an impact. Ari Owl says debuts matter. They were the way to find the best cosplays. Choco, me and the algorithm want to fight. It's competitive online for sure.
Choco, you should sell tickets to that.
Yeah. Oh, Rain says, yeah, don't use Hobby Lobby. I mean, if I can choose to, I don't use Hobby Lobby, but sometimes they'll have things that like, you know, like for some reason, like Moana, right? Like I started doing commissions for Moana, and people wouldn't sell. Like I would actually take grass skirts and sew them together, and it's not easy to find grass skirts. So unfortunately, they were the ones that had them in person. But yeah, I would have. You guys can Google that.
Hopeless says, though.
What's that?
Fun fact, Michaels sells fabric online that they don't sell in store.
Oh.
So that's actually where I got the green satin for my Sailor Jupiter. I don't think they have that color anymore, but like literally I was like fighting with them to get like the last 5 yards that they had. Originally it was like 7 yards and I ordered all of it, and then I was like, hey, this hasn't shipped. I'm like, oh, sorry, we didn't ship it because there's actually only 5 yards. I'm like, I don't care, just like give me all of it.
Yeah.
I did not know that they sold fabric online.
Yeah, it's like Pieux de Soie, I don't know. It's French, and like I said, I didn't take French, so I don't know how to pronounce it. But they do have like a really nice. It's very comparable to like Casa satin.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's interesting that you say that because I bought fabric on AliExpress, which comes directly from China. I know some people have issues with that, but I have bought fabric from there, which is harder to return. So of course it's more specific fabrics that I would buy there. But Amazon, so fabric.com is owned by Amazon. And if Amazon is something that you use regularly, check fabrics there. I actually bought really gorgeous velvet, and you've seen this velvet, Liz. This is the velvet I used for Ariel. And I was like, wow, because I could not find good velvet and I was like, I looked at the reviews, and people made like gorgeous chairs and pillows, and I'm like, this must be pretty lush. So it was actually really good.
Yeah, it was really nice.
God, lots of comment. Y'all are chatty, which thank you very much. I will hopeless as I have a lot of pleather because I found it at the clearance rack at Joann's, and that's where I've been really good about not getting fabric in the clearance section because I will go and I'm like, oh my god, this Yaya Han fabric's on clearance, but I'm like, no. Stop hoarding fabric, Jessica.
Liz, did you ever do, when you worked at Disney, did you ever go to, gosh, what was it called, like property control?
Was that the I feel like I know what you're talking about, but we called it something else.
Yeah, like I think property control was like the back area, but there was something in the front.
Yes.
And like you would get like discounted merchandise and such.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to remember what we called it.
Oh,
it
for like employees? Like
it was like something, we called it something else, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like a toy store or something?
Yeah, it was, they would have like discounted like merchandise, like, or it's, you know, hey, it's like 2015 now, but we have all these 2014 ships that obviously we can't sell anymore. So like you can get it for super cheap. But they also had an area that was called like property control that only the employees could go into, because like the front area you could sign people in.
Yeah.
But, like the back area, it was like just the.
It was like behind like a chain link door.
It was literally like a chain fence.
I still have they were selling these like blankets, these like Christmas, like, you know, the classic like Mickey Mouse, Minnie, Pluto, like all of them, like blankets, like real nice. Like if you bought it in the park, it would be like $90, like at least, probably more nowadays. And I was there with my mom, and I like went in that area. I got like one of the blankets, and then like there were literally people with like carrying as many of them as they could, like just piles of these blankets. I still have it. It's so nice. It's so soft.
I mean, that is a lovely Christmas gift. I would not mind.
It was a Christmas gift to myself.
I ended up getting like some fabric there. I kind of regret not getting it now, but they like legitimately had like the official, like the jacket that Tinkerbell wears. Like they had that official velvet for sale. And that's probably official trim for.
But that's like after they've changed her costume. Like they wouldn't have sold it if I've sold it. Oh my gosh!
I imagine it was because they changed it.
Yeah.
Like Jasmine, they were selling her the trim, the gold trim of the old costume, because like they did end up updating the costume. I got.
I don't like this different. That's a different story.
Like I got this like red sequin fabric that I've been saving for something special. I got like this huge bolt of like just generic like black fabric, which has been great for like mock-ups. I got this beautiful like gold holographic leather, like genuine leather there. And I got like all these like spools of fabric, and it was like, I think it was like less than $20.
It was always like crazy cheap.
Yes. I'm so mad. I went one time and someone like was checking out, and they had like an official from the park, Winnie the Pooh honey pot. And I'm like
what are the like decorations?
Because I love Winnie the Pooh so much. Like that was my thing as a kid. And I'm like, I wanted
that. That sounds like heaven. I'm just sitting here like, tell me more.
They had a sewing machine there, like an industrial sewing machine there one time, which obviously I couldn't transport because I have like a toy car basically. So I was like,
and like I wish that like I'm memories are like coming back to me now of like things I didn't buy because like I was in college, so I like didn't have the money. But it's like if I had the money, like I would have bought like that whole back room.
Oh yeah,
that's why we're adult now.
They would have like the costume sale like twice a year or something, and they would sell like old costume pieces, like petticoats and bloomers and like, you know, whatever, like whatever.
I know. I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool.
But like,
so fun.
You know, obviously, like, you know, I didn't have any like money back then.
Yeah. No, that's why we're adult geeks now. And oh my gosh, so many comments. I'm gonna try and go through them real quick because I have some things I want to finish up with Momo, and we're like almost done. We can go on for like hours and hours and hours.
Seriously.
Yeah. Wooster's talking about some memories, some stained shower curtains in the hotel when we're cosplayers. Like that's never a new thing, is, you know, body paint on body paint residue in hotel rooms. Let's see. Okay, I'm sewing. Taco says I'm sewing at work today. Oh, awesome. And then Sakura did mention Amazon killed fabric.com when they took it over. I mean, it just makes it a little more accessible. Like, you know, some things are still sold on Amazon. But the website, I know the website's the actual fabric.com website is not really active, which kind of sucks because you have to always go to Amazon, which people that don't have Amazon, it's not good. But a couple more things, Momo, because you and I have been talking a little bit more about collaborating. And I actually, if you guys have been following, CosTalk Live also collaborates with a couple other people to just do some things like meetups. We do like official meetups now, and some other people have reached out and been like, I want to do this. I'm like, yeah, why not? Like, meetups are fun. Like, I mean, these pop-ups are great, but then like you have like the vendors and you have the people that are, the business that's providing the space and and we used to have pop-ups before COVID. So we're just trying to bring them, not pop-ups, I'm sorry, meetups. Before COVID, people would do like park meetups and stuff, and we're trying to get some stuff done before it gets too hot because we definitely can't. So Momo and I have been talking, and Momo, you love to do roller skating.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. I didn't know that.
I picked that up during COVID, actually.
Yeah, so, that's so cool.
Silver lining.
And that's what I want to do. So among some of the other stuff that we're doing, I've poked Momo and been like, let's schedule a cosplay meetup at the skate rink. So keep an eye out for that, guys. And we are doing more events. What kind of events are you going to be at coming up, Momo, if you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I have at least like one event a month from now until September. So let's see, next month, February, I'm going to Level Up Expo, just attending as, an attendee.
Cool.
That's in Vegas. I'm doing in March, KikoriCon,
which Flagstaff, Arizona. Yeah.
Is going to be my first time doing an artist table at a 3D event, which I'm really excited about. Awesome. I've done cosplay tables, but like, there's going to be like officially artist alley. So
yay.
Drawing, that's my other passion.
That's so cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's see, April, there's Gunbate MiniCon.
Where's that one going to be?
I can't remember if I saw where it was. I know it's April 22nd.
Okay.
Which is a Saturday. And then Anime Arizona, which is in Mesa, at the Mesa Convention Center. That's like May 5th through 7th. Let's see, what's after May? June. I'm hoping to go to Phoenix Comic Con, depending on if certain things come together. Then we have Anime Expo, which is July 1 through 4th. August, I want to say 11th through 13th, is Game On Expo, which is also here in Phoenix. And then
my favorite.
I'm so excited for that. I didn't get to go before, so this will be my first one.
Oh, I love retro gaming. I love it.
Yes.
It's
and
so
I'm also
fun.
doing an artist table at that one, as well as
Cool.
Saboten the next month, which is the beginning, like the first weekend of September. I forget the exact dates. It might be 1 through 4 again. So
awesome. This is your online store, and you have such cute art and stickers and lots of roller skates.
I'm a huge Neopets fan, so I do a lot of Neopets art.
Oh my gosh, when you were talking about remembering your login, I legit was almost like, do you remember your Neopets login?
I literally, hang on. I literally have Neopets open right now.
Oh my God.
I was like, while I was waiting, I'm like, I'm going to go do Kitchen Quest, which is like the most nerdy thing I could possibly do.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. So guys, make sure you can check out her links in the description, momokarinyo.com. Now, you spell it with the accented N, but that's not always, keyboard friendly, right? So that's why you see the difference in spelling.
Yeah, so for social media and links, it will be Karinyo, because, all the programmers were like, we're not going to use other language, like with the accents and the tildes, so it had to be like a regular N, and I was like, I could spell it like Carino, but I might as well just. But
then people will call you Carino.
Yeah, so it's like I might as well just spell it the way that it's pronounced, and that's why it has the Y.
Because it's the Spanish. It's a Spanish word, right? Carino.
Yes.
Yeah, because Filipinos as well, like, because we have a lot of Spanish influence, and so we have this group called the Filipiniana Disney Princesses, and we have the same N, but we spell it N-I-A, it Nia, But anyway, so guys, we are going to wrap up here. So give us, if you have any last minute questions, throw them in the chat. I'm gonna do a couple of shameless plugs because it's my show and I can do that. So we are going to announce something super exciting. If you guys remember, on a couple episodes back, we had I don't know why I have this one that's laminated because it's all glossy. We have Cosplay Universe. We had the co-director Jared Rennert on our show, and we are bringing him and hopefully some guests, we haven't confirmed them yet, to Arizona April 29th for an in-person premiere. So exciting, because if you haven't seen this, you can watch it. You can buy it on Amazon Prime, or you can watch it for free on Tubi, TUBI.com, with ads. And it's gorgeous. I cried every single time I watch it. It's a seven years of labor of love. And it was released in 2019 and kind of fell by the wayside. So we're excited to bring that to Arizona. I'm also going to be announcing, we're going to be doing a cosplay showcase. And I keep explaining it like this. It's going to be like the Her Universe show at San Diego, kind of, with less restrictions. Pretty much there's a prompt, the prompt's universe, and it basically, the guidelines are, the prompt is universe. It has to be some sort of fandom related thing, and then it has to be original. And it's going to be a showcase. It's not a contest. You will get some cool incentive if you're chosen, but keep an eye out for that information. We also have another cost swap coming up at Zing Fu Tang Boba in Mesa Riverview on February 19th. On a smaller scale, so we'll be doing only table vendors. And then we actually have another one coming up in July too. So we've already got like plans going, which is super exciting. And yeah, so I wonder if we have anything else coming. Oh, ECCC, so Emerald City Comic Con, CosTalk Live will be there present. Thermo Cosplay is a content creator, and we'll be doing some panels. And of course, Chibi Rain Cloud is our Pacific Northwest member. And wow, all the comments. Okay, so a couple more comments. Hopeless says, oh, the Cardinal Stadium for Gambate Minicon. So excited, hope I can go. Or you guys are talking about the movie. Choco says, wait, can I even do this? You can do anything. I don't know what you're referring to, but you can do anything.
She's referring to the showcase.
Yes, of course you can.
And she's one of the rotating hosts.
Yeah, you could be in the showcase, but I mean, whatever the incentives are, you'll probably get it anyway. So, but you absolutely can. I already know what I'm gonna make. But I'll be putting some more information out on that. We're just wrapping up details. So you guys can always follow us on our socials. But before I do that, oh my God, Momo is gonna share who her friend is and where you can find her online. So Momo and friend.
This is Daisy. She's the one who's always dropping hairs in my drinks.
Oh.
So if you heard a lot of tippy tappy during the chat, I apologize. That was them. We have hard floors because we have 2 dogs. So, and of course, they will always like manage to like throw up or poop on like the one area of the house that has like a rug or a carpet.
Oh yeah,
that's their specialty.
It's always that. Where we can find you online?
I'm Momo Karinyo, again with the NYO, on almost all social media. So that's on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I think Facebook, it's like Momo Karinyo Cosplays is the full one. And then for my art accounts, I do have 2 art accounts, which is Twitter and Instagram, and it's just Momo Karinyo Art. And then, of course, I have my website, which is momokarinyo.com.
Awesome. Taking that in there. And Liz, where can we find you now? Because it's brand new.
My handle is Liz Todd Studio on all social medias now, or you guys could take a look at my portfolio website if that interests you at liztodd.studio.
Ooh, do not even, girl. That's awesome. Okay, guys. I am Jinx Cosplay. You can find me on the socials at the Jinx Cosplay because I didn't jump on that train fast enough. But my website is jinxcosplay.com. And the website that we were referring to today was acparadise.com. It is just a little place to like go and share more of your cosplay. It does hold a place in my heart because again, it was, one of the few places that we had to share what we did. Because if you didn't learn an event, it didn't happen. And as for CosTalk Live, guys, we stream live on 3 platforms simultaneously: Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch every Sunday at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Next week, it will be me and Chibi doing kind of we're going to start a new series where we do like a wrap up of the previous month's events. And then we also will be doing a showcase of people that submitted for our monthly challenge. So if you didn't know that we do a monthly challenge, we do. It usually stays on, we started on Discord and it kind of stays on Discord, but you can always tag us on socials. But I'm going to throw our Discord here in the chat. You are always welcome to join. You don't need to be a cosplayer. You just like to like cosplay. So Momo, of course, please, we'd love to have you there. But if you did submit for the January challenge, which was lights, the prompt was lights, we will be showing your picture on the show. So if you want to be on the show and your picture, be sure to enter. And there's no rules. People are always like, oh no, sorry, not lights. That was December's. magic. So some people are like, is this magic? I'm like, it's up to interpretation. So submit yours and we'll share it on the show next week. Thank you so much, Momo and Daisy, for coming on the show, sharing your amazing
talk to you, Momo.
Of course, it was great talking with you as well. Oh, do you
Yes.
want me for free? Okay, goodbye.
Oh, she's like, I need love. And of course, be sure to, support and, use her patterns. They're amazing. I have personally used them, so they are great. And, come out and see her at the shows and the artist alleys. So thank you guys so much and take care. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.